Hey, what's going on, guys? So in this video, I'm just going to show real quick on my view of what happened today, and because I know a lot of people were kind of confused on what happened or either shorted at the wrong time. So I'm just going to explain my point of view on how I've seen things. Um, so yeah, so this was in the morning, about 15 minutes into the open. I said that it needs to break this 29.29 zone first. So what I was saying is these are zones here. This 29.55, 29.50, 29.44 is an important zone. We have broke that down overnight. We were now heading below that zone. You have the 29.29 through 29.11 zone. I have 29.12, but 29.11 is the gravity point. So you have 29.29 through 29.11. Okay, that's the next zone. So once we broke down this 29.55 through 29.44 zone, you can see the breakdown right here, and you can see the save on top of the 29.29. Once we broke down this zone, you could see it acting as resistance. We had no candle close above this zone. So you could see once we broke down the zone, we had a rejection, we had a rejection, we had a rejection, we had a rejection. So now there is no candles being, price is rejecting this area. Price is rejecting the zone. But you could also see with the candles, the way that they're forming, all of these bodies of the candle, all of them are opening up above this zone. So you can see we broke down this zone and rejected this zone, but we're also saving this zone. We're saving it. You could clearly see it. We rejected all of these, but we're also saving all this. There's no candle close into the zone, so it hasn't broke it down. It hasn't broke down that 29.29 yet, which is why I wasn't shorting it, because I said it needs to break down this first. You have to wait until confirmation. You have to know your timing. The timing of it is way more important than timing and price kind of go hand in hand. Without time, you're pretty much clueless, um, because they'll trick you like this. You could see all of these wicks underneath, but they're saving it every single time. And if you look at a higher time frame, this is the hourly chart, you could see that they're saving above this 29.29. They're not allowing no close for it, so that's giving you caution. If you see it wick one time, save, two times, save, three times, you have a close above it, save, the next candle opens above it, so you have one, two, three, four, you have now four saves. The fifth candle still opens above it, that's a fifth save. And then it even opened up again. You can see right here the candle opened up once again above this, so that's the sixth save. You have one, two, three, four, five, six saves. So even though it's wicking down here, you have to keep in mind of the time. This was the hourly closes, so this is the hourly chart. All of these hourly candles were being saved above here. You could see it clearly. Once it's finally saved it on the sixth time, it just spiked right through. So this was my caution that I had gave, and why I wasn't really shorting it yet. I mean, you could have shorted this 29.44. The first, it gave you a spike to 29.44. You could have shorted it, and it got you pretty close. It got you down to about 29.06. So that's like almost a good 40-point gain. Um, I know it's tough to just, because we're expecting more than that. It's tough to just take profits, but sometimes you gotta take what's given, and if it's giving you a good drop like that in the morning, just kind of take it. It's more tougher on the people with smaller accounts, because you don't have enough contracts to where you're only writing one contract. So if you sell it off, you're not going to be able to catch more of the move. But when you have smaller accounts, you just kind of want to take your quick bucks. You just want to kind of take it and just build your account slowly upper and upper until you're able to add more contracts. So then on this drop, you're taking some off on the 29.15 zone, and then you're taking more off as we're breaking below 29.11. You're taking more off, and then you just keep doing that. So then if it ends up like it did, going back above and trying to fuck you, you at least took some profit, and hopefully um, by then you made up for the trade already. But as you can see, once it opened above for the sixth time on the hourly chart, we spiked above. Anytime you get a number of rejections or a number of support, um, like you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections of the 2944. The more you bounce or the more you reject off something, the more it keeps trying, it's just gonna give. It's like anything. It's like if you're constantly jumping on something, it's gonna end up breaking. Like you, it's just so many attempts that it's eventually gonna break. So it was either you had so many attempts to the downside and you had so many attempts to the upside. So here it was just like one of these are gonna break and then it's gonna spike pretty big or drop pretty big. But this gave you the clue right here. Once you opened again, this was at 7 o'clock Pacific time, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So 10 o'clock Eastern time, you could see they opened it again above this 2929 zone, which was the sixth save. So that gave you a pretty good clue that this is the sixth time that they didn't save this 2929 zone. So it's giving you caution. This might not be the right timing right now. It spiked through the zone and went straight up to the 2977 zone, which I've been saying for the past couple of days that below 2977 you do not want to be long. That's where you want to be shorting at. That's where you want to switch your bias and start heading down towards lower targets, because the 2977 is another important zone. You can see overnight we had many attempts. You had 1 save, 2 save, 3 save, 4 save, 5 saves above this 2977. Once we finally broke down 2977, you could see the big drop. You could see this big drop that we had overnight. That's because we broke down the 2977. So once it started saving that 2929 zone down here, we spiked right back into to test that 2977 from below. And you could see we rejected it. So like I was saying, short all rallies underneath 2977. So as we spiked up into it, you could have shorted it and it gave you a drop all the way down towards our final, well, not the final zone, but it gave you a drop towards this zone, which is the 2904, 2899 zone. And this was what I was going to talk about here on why they saved it end of day. You can see on this 15-minute chart, you had all these candles above the 2904 zone, just like I was explaining in the 2929 zone when they had 6 saves above it and shot it up. You could see a clear save, no candles opening below this zone, so they were saving it on the 15-minute chart. You go to your 30-minute chart, no candles below, they're opening it above this zone again. You had another save on the 30-minute chart. You go to the hourly and it's the same thing. And you got to keep in mind the timing of this. This was during power hour, going into a weekend. So shorts, all the shorts that shorted way up there in the 2977 zone, they're covering because it's getting way too close to end of the day. We're in power hour, we're going into the weekend. Nobody wants to hold their shorts from this level down here. This, if you're shorting from, just imagine you're shorting from 2977, you're shorting from 2944 breakdown, you're shorting from 2929 breakdown. If you're shorting from any of those levels and you're going into power hour into the weekend, nobody wants to hold their shorts anymore. So you could see the way that they're saving this zone right here. They saved it. They saved it. They saved it on all 3 time frames. The bears, the people that are shorting, are seeing that they're saving it. So what they're saying is, okay, they're saving it. So that means that they're going to save it and spike it back up to this 2929 zone again. You're just trading back and forth between zones. 2944 zone to the 2929 zone to the 2904, 2899 zone. So you're trading back and forth between the zones. If they're saving it during power hour, they're saving it right here, they're saving it right here, and they're saving it right here. What's that? That's telling bears, okay, they're gonna save this and they're gonna bounce it back up to 29.29. We only have about, this was a power hour, so we only have an hour left of the day. If they're going to save this zone and push it back into the 29.29 zone, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough time in the day to do more damage. It's already power hour. They're saving this zone right here. Let's just cover, because we don't have enough time to be messing around and trying to push it below the 28.99. There's not enough time left in the day. So what they're doing is they're covering now, because there's not enough time left. It's power hour going into the weekend. They're just taking profits. They're just taking whatever they could get, which is what's causing the squeeze. They now cause the squeeze. They're now covering more, and you have this big spike again at the end of the day. Another reason why they made it so difficult like this today was because it's Friday. It's the Friday's expiration. We had a big gap down overnight. The puts um, I think I got it for like around 160. I got my puts yesterday at 160, and today at open they opened up at $8. So you're talking about a 160 entry, and they're opening up at $8. That's how much premium got jacked into the overnight because of the drop. So we had a super big gap down, right? We had a big gap down. The premium jacked up so much that my contracts went from 160 and they opened up at $8. So all of the Friday expirations were too jacked up in premium. All of the puts were expensive. They were just way too expensive because of the gap down. So what the market's job is to try to fuck everyone as much as possible. They're trying to screw everyone over. The premiums are way too jacked up. They're gonna try to chop it around and whipsaw it back and forth to cut that premium down, because it's too expensive. They're gonna try to fuck everyone over. So everyone that's buying that high premium, they're gonna chop it around to chop down the premium, because they want to fuck people over. That's the market's job. The market is not there. It's not for you to win. It's they're gonna try to mess you up as much as possible. Um, so that's another reason is why we're whipsawing back and forth so much, is because the premiums were just way too high, and they needed to screw some people over. Um, but this is pretty much why they saved it, and why the timing of this is so important. Uh, we failed to close above this 29.77, so you see we spiked it up end of day. We spiked it up again. They got as high as 29.84 on the spike, but you can see the hourly closed below the 29.77. You had all of this closed below the zones. So we closed all below. You can see the 15-minute close below the zone. You can see the 30-minute close below the zone, and you can see the hourly close below the zone again. So just like I was explaining in the 29.29 zone and explaining in the 29.04 zone, this is another example. They closed it on all candles below the zone, and they closed it below our key level 29.77, which I said you do not want to be long underneath it. So because they closed it below 29.77, my opinion is, on Monday Sunday futures opens up, but Monday when we're trading again, we could possibly see another gap down. Um, just like how we didn't close above 3,026, they did the same exact thing. If you guys pay attention, they're doing the same exact thing every time. The shorts, they shorted it down from that. Let me see. I'll see if I can get the example. So this was yesterday. Look, the same exact thing. This is 12 o'clock power hour, which is 3 o'clock Eastern time. During power hour again, look, just how that zone from the 2904 to 2899 in today's session down here, just like in this zone, and just like in this zone when they saved it, this is the same thing that happened yesterday. They saved the 3003 to 3007 zone. You can see the 30-minute candle, they didn't close it below the zone. They closed it inside of the zone. How the candles open up, that's going to give you an indication on where things are heading. You got to look at the candles, you got to look at how they open up, and you got to look at the timing of things. This is during power hour again. This is the last hour, and this is the last 30 minutes. So you could see within from 3:30 Eastern, you can see they're saving this zone again. And like I was explaining, what happened today, that's exactly what happened yesterday. They didn't close it below it. Shorts are running out of time. Shorts are saying, okay, we've been shorting from way up here. We're running out of time. We only got an hour. We only got 30 minutes left into the day. They're saving this zone right here, and they're going to push it back up towards these zones. We don't have enough time to keep fighting the bulls to go below this zone. So we're just going to cover, let the bulls win for now, and we're just going to short again at higher prices. So you can see they saved this. The bulls did their job. They saved this zone. The shorts are saying, okay, we're not going to fight you no more. We're going to book our profits. We're going to book our wins. We already won this battle. We're going to win, and we're just going to fight another time. So they booked their profits, allowed the squeeze to happen. We rejected this zone up here, this purple zone. We rejected this area and went back down, and we didn't close above the key level 3026. 3026 was our key level. We didn't close above that, which I warned. I said we didn't close above our key level, so it's a possible gap down. And then today we seen the big gap down. We got our big gap down, and then now I'm saying the same thing again. We didn't close above our level 2977. They didn't close above it, so expect another gap down on Monday. If you guys have any questions, just message me in Discord. Talk to you guys soon. Late.